At Nemarian Capital, we bring you the latest stock news each day. Please like and subscribe so we can bring these articles to you each day. Thank you.
Today, January 10, 2023, dear SOFI stock fans, mark your calendars for January 30th. SOFI and other fintechs are waiting for the investment climate to change. SOFI stock is in focus ahead of the release of its full-year financial results for 2022. The company has become a fintech bellwether with a high public profile. It is still losing money but growing rapidly. SOFI Technologies, Nasdaq SOFI, stock rose 4% on January 9, with hopes rising that the fintech winter may be ending. The online banking and brokerage company lost nearly two-thirds of its value in the last year as investors soured on the sector. However, the company is due to report results for 2022 on January 30th, and all eyes are on SOFI stock ahead of that date. Since its last report on November 1st, when it guided toward higher revenue and said it had positive EBITDA, the stock is down 15%. Fintech bellwether. SOFI came public on June 1, 2021, through a special purpose acquisition company. It has a high public profile thanks to a naming rights deal for the Los Angeles stadium that hosted last year's Super Bowl and this week's college football playoff final. On its first day of trading, it closed at about $22.50 per share. It opened on January 10 at about $4.80. SOFI CEO Anthony Noto is a former managing director at Goldman Sachs and was once chief financial officer for the National Football League. At its initial public offering, SOFI had all the makings of a fintech giant. This was thanks largely to the acquisition of Galileo, a company that lets banks and brokers go online through an application program interface. Since then, SOFI has bought a small California bank, allowing it to take deposits from consumers. The company also lets customers buy cryptocurrency. While I have called SOFI a long-term play, I have written positively about the stock, even investing some of my retirement money in it. So far, this has been a mistake. The problem for fintechs like SOFI is that they get most of their capital through stock sales. While SOFI Bank now takes deposits and can hold loans, with 377,000 new clients in the third quarter alone, that's still a small part of the business. What happens next? Analysts continue to expect growth but no profits from SOFI, a loss of about 8 cents per share and revenue of $453 million. Until the investment climate changes, it is unlikely to trade much higher. Why is SOFI stock up today? SOFI will report its fourth quarter earnings later this month. SOFI closed in the green following a new student loan repayment proposal, a confirmation date for fourth quarter earnings and an interview with CFO Chris Lapointe. Analysts are expecting revenue of $426.03 million and an EPS loss of 9 cents for the quarter. Shares of SOFI stock are up by about 14% year to date. Shares of SOFI closed in the green following the release of three pieces of news related to the company. First, President Joe Biden's administration has proposed a new student loan repayment plan that could cut costs for many borrowers. CNBC reports the new plan may cut payments by as much as 50% for some borrowers. In addition, the proposal could drop payments for the most affordable income-driven repayment plan to 5% of discretionary monthly income from 10%. Higher education expert Mark Kantrowitz noted the plan could be enacted by as soon as July 1, although some parts of the plan may be enacted sooner. It could be seen as a positive for SOFI stock, as it could encourage more students to enroll in affordable higher education by taking on student loans. Next, SOFI disclosed that it would report its full year and fourth quarter earnings on January 30th. Let's get into the details. Why is SOFI stock up today? For fourth quarter, analysts are expecting revenue of $426.03 million, up 52.2% year over year from $279.88 million. Furthermore, earnings per share is expected to tally in at a loss of 9 cents compared to a loss of 15 cents a year ago. Those estimates would bring full-year revenue to $1.53 billion and the EPS loss to 43 cents. For 2023, analysts are forecasting revenue of $2.03 billion and an EPS loss of 26 cents. Finally, Seeking Alpha contributor Christopher Hoger released an interview with CFO Chris Lapointe and his concluding thoughts following the interview. The main topic of the interview was stock-based compensation and how it dilutes existing shareholders. Following the interview, Hoger concluded the actual dilution from SOFI's stock-based compensation program is fairly minimal, despite many arguing stock-based compensation would dilute SOFI by 25% each year. He also believes stock-based compensation will decline as the company grows. Hoger does admit stock-based compensation is currently a significant expense. During third quarter, SOFI reported a net loss of $74.2 million and stock-based compensation expense of $77.9 million. That means, all other things held equal, SOFI could have been profitable in third quarter without stock-based compensation. On the other hand, Hoger believes stock-based compensation is driving performance. When employees are rewarded, they are more incentivized to work harder. A hard-working employee culture paired with adequate rewards could ultimately lead to a higher stock price.
Thanks for watching Numerian Capital News. Please come back tomorrow for another stock news update. Thank you.